My name is Jack Hunter. My retirement rank was as a lieutenant commander in the Navy. Following my subland tour, I was ordered up to do London, and I took command of one of the two floating dry docks that were there at the time, the West Milton ARD 7. Responsibilities there was the docking of East Coast submarines, cleaning up the hulls, doing whatever repair work was required, and then sending them back out for whatever their next operation was. West Milton was a floating dry dock. It was built back in the 1940s. It was used in the Pacific during the war out there, and it was built to dry dock damaged ships up to the size of a cruiser. After the war, it was decommissioned and put in reserve, and the submarine force adopted it. There were two of them, the West Milton, and the other one escapes me, but it was a second one, companion dry dock there in Groton. And we were capable of dry docking up to 637 class submarines. The newer 688 class submarines were just too heavy. We couldn't get them in the dock. We could get them in the dock, but physically we couldn't pump out enough water to get them dry. I had a crew of 60 people, and interestingly enough, a good third of them were women. The young ladies did everything. They were responsible for running the cranes. They did shaping of the blocks that the submarines were going to be sitting on. They did the sandblasting of the submarine hulls. They painted the hulls. They were involved in every facet of the upkeep of a submarine when it came in there. And it was an interesting experience. They were all surface people, no submarine people at all. My officers were all chief warrant officers, all surface officers, warfare officers again. And so I was the only submariner on board. At the time, I was able to garner some help from the Naval Submarine Support Facility when it came to heavy-duty repairs on submarines. They did all that work. My responsibility was the exterior of the submarine. When I took command of the dry dock early on, I was part of the Naval Submarine Support Facility and also responsible for the reported to the submarine squadron commander. I went to the submarine squadron commander one day and said, Commodore, I'd like to have a family cruise. He said, Jack, you don't get underway. How can you have a family cruise? I said, well, my idea is the day that I have a submarine coming into dock, I would like to have my family, ship's family, on board the dry dock. I said, the cooks have come up with a menu. We know where we're going to have everybody stationed on the dry dock so that they're out of the way. But I think it would be kind of a unique experience for them to see what their husbands and their girlfriends or their whatevers, significant others experience bringing a submarine into dry dock. He thought about it for a little while and he said, okay, give me the details later. And he said, if it looks like something reasonable, we'll do it. So the first time went very well. The second time I offered to do this, I said, Commodore, I'd like to also include the incoming ship's family on board the dry dock so they can see what happens when their husband's submarine comes in a dry dock. He says, well, you got away with it once. He said, do it again. So we did, and I got a letter of thanks from the submarine skipper for that. Following that 2-year tour, I went across the street, as it was, and went to Commander of Submarine Development Squadron 12 and spent 2 years there. I was the weapons officer and the tactical head of the Tactical Systems Division. And so I retired in 1980 after 20 years of service. And that's my life as a naval officer.